Hey everyone, my name is Blueberry the Folf. Blueberry. Now I want blueberry muffins. Ugh. Back to the kitchen.
And hi everyone, my name is Stormi the Folf, and it's time for Q&A number 8. Here, I'll be answering questions you left on my previous Q&A video. So if you got a question for me pertaining to the furry fandom or myself, type hashtag Q&A in the comments below, followed by your question, and I just might answer it in the next Q&A. And without further to potate, let's begin! I am a young fur. What could I do to be part of the community? When it comes to being part of the furry fandom, there is no single path you can take. It really just depends on what you want to do. Figure out what inspires you in the furry fandom. A lot of furs get their start simply through sharing their art of their persona, or just art of anthropomorphic animals in general. If you like drawing, give it a shot. There are several furry art groups on Facebook and Furry Amino, for instance, where you can share your stuff. If you haven't already done so, try making a persona. I already did a whole video on that, which you can check out up above. I'd say that tends to be the first real step in making your presence known in the fandom. Have you ever watched Sonic Underground? I have, and honestly, I don't dig it. The storyline is an absolute mess. The music was just really weird, and that's coming from someone who likes weird things. But for me, it's just a whole different level of weird that I don't particularly fancy. The whole idea of musical instruments having superpowers does sound really cool, but in Underground, it just sort of fell apart. It didn't even feel like a Sonic cartoon in some aspects. But it does have an underground fan base, so they must be doing something right. Right? Why do I do this? I wonder if they ever found their mom, though. What's your dream fursuit, including things that aren't possible? Basically something that cannot be differentiated from something you'd see in a multi-million-dollar budget Pixar film. I'm talking about blinking eyes, moving eyebrows, a movable jaw, multiple expressions, being able to flop my ears independently. Basically, super high-end animatronics without the creep factor or mechanical noises. Imagine Stormi with cybernetic implants. Like Five Nights at Freddy's minus the creep factor, if that makes sense. Stormi, my question relates to the fandom in general. I have cerebral palsy and a vision impairment too. Are cons ADA accessible? I will get a partial fursuit when I get one and would wear glasses with it. Have you seen any disabled suitors? If so, how do they suit? And why isn't disability more common in the fandom? From what I understand, nearly all furry conventions will be accepting and try to accommodate to the best of their abilities. But to be safe, you really need to contact convention staff first to confirm this. Also, one of my best friends happens to be legally blind, but he still actively fursuits and cosplays. But he also has a handler with him literally at all times, which you really should have a handler to start with if you're fursuiting. I've also witnessed con staff helping out attendees with disabilities, and I have seen at least one individual in full suit. The reality is, however, there is just no true way to know how many disabled attendees are at a convention at any given time. As for disability in the fandom as a whole, Fur Science did do a survey at Texas Furry Fiesta 2015 highlighting the prevalence of disabilities in the fandom. Additionally, I pinged my patrons for some input on this matter, and a majority of them either are disabled or know a furry with a particular disability. I'm really thinking I should do a video on this topic at some point. I hope that was an okay answer. That was a tough question, I'm not gonna lie. Do you ever just remember what your favorite childhood shows were, and then just listen to them, and that feel-good nostalgia? Also, what was your favorite childhood show that doesn't get aired anymore? Answer the first question, all the time. Aside from anything related to Sonic, maybe, Animaniacs? I haven't had cable TV in like 10 years, and there was this period of time when I was young where my favorite shows wouldn't come on TV anymore, but video streaming wasn't really a thing yet. You can't really do that stuff on dial-up. And of course there was no YouTube. So for those years, my only options were to find them on VHS or DVD, or wait for another channel to air it at some point. But it's all in the past now. What's your favorite sport to play? Does DDR count? And if it doesn't, well, I don't really have one, to be honest. I used to go swimming as a kid, and I had the smallest interest in playing basketball, and I really didn't like playing it to start. I don't like sports, okay? And going outside is just overrated. It's nothing but sweat and bunts out there. Is an 11-year-old able to be a furry? Anyone of any age can be a furry. There is no age requirement to getting into the fandom. It's not Sonic, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. No, I don't think so. It's actually pronounced Sonic the Hedgehog. Hey Stormi, I remember you saying you like DDR. So what's your favorite DDR song/artist? Also, have you played any other rhythm games? Well, one of my favorite charts in DDR would have to be Sunkissed Drop. If I could ever get back into shape, I would love to freestyle this chart with treble someday. But as for other games, I used to play OS. I used to call that Osu for the longest time. Why is there a U in it if you can't pronounce? I don't like silent letters, gosh darn it! But yeah, I used to play that for a while, but now I can't play it without getting severe wrist cramps. It's not fun. I also used to play Pump It Up a lot, but I really gotta start going back to the arcade. Yeah. Hi Stormi. If you're at a local convention and don't have a hotel room besides the Headless Lounge, what's a good place to take a break? I'm going to PersonaCon, and last year I mainly hung out in the mini Headless Lounge in the main event room. While it is possible to suit at a full weekend convention without a hotel room, it's a little challenging because you're up against some tedious logistics. No matter what happens, especially in this case, the Headless Lounge should be your primary go-to area when you need to de-suit and cool off. That doesn't mean like, you know, take all your clothes off or anything like that, because it's still a public kind of similar. You get what I mean. Don't treat the Headless Lounge like an actual hotel room. If for some reason you need to cool off and the Headless Lounge is far away or whatever, you need to find an empty, air-conditioned area that's not off limits to the convention space, like maybe the hotel lobby. At FWA, I chilled a little bit at the food court, so you might try that if your hotel has one. Also, no matter what you do not sit up against doorways, don't block any hallways or walkways, things like that, because you could create a potential fire hazard. One thing I would try though is if you have any trustworthy friends that are attending, maybe hit them up and ask if it's okay to chill in the room for a bit. You will if you're looking for a place like to sleep or whatever, you will need a hotel room, or you'll need to sleep somewhere off-site, because if you do sleep like in the main lobby or something, you might get kicked out, so please don't do that. What advice do you have for new furry YouTubers and fursuiters? Think outside the box. Do not be afraid to break new ground on content, but of course remember you gotta follow YouTube's rules, so don't try to do anything too crazy. When I first started, I did anything from rants to rambling to gaming streams to reviews, and to what I do now, which is primarily advice content. You just really have to play around first to get an idea of what you truly want to do. Like, you could tell stories about your experiences in the furry fandom or something. Experiment. As for fursuiting, I have covered a lot of videos on that topic, which you could check out up above. It is this one. I know it's... I'm always gonna get my left and right mixed up. Can you think of any very good videos for starting fursuit making? Mujiwara Cosplay and Sparky Bites are very good content creators when it comes to suit making tutorials. Mujiwara really goes into detail with basically every little fursuit part you could imagine, but makes it really easy to understand at the same time. Sparky Bites has a series called Good to Know, which does cost money, but it is also a one-time purchase for a growing series of videos, which according to a friend of mine is all super high quality, fully in-depth, and just all things amazing. I may get it at some point just so I can learn more about suit making, to be honest. Why are you using a red screen instead of a green screen? Green screens work in conjunction with a tool called chroma key, which removes a particular set color. In this case, green from the video. See how my tongue is green and how my fur is like a turquoise color, which is a blue-green color? From here, I'll switch chroma key from red to green.
This happens! I am now Blueberry the Folf.
What's your opinion on hosting a fur meet, or in an alternate dimension, a furry convention, during the weekday? Not everyone is off on weekends. How good or bad of an idea would that be, and how would it affect attendance? Well, for local meets, I would run a poll to determine which days work best for the local furry group. And the way I see it, there's always going to be a group of people who miss out on meets and cons due to prior responsibilities and scheduling conflicts. It's simply impossible to get everyone to get off the same day for any particular meet or event. What I would like to do, however, is host meets on, say, like a rotational basis, if that makes sense. Like one on a weekday, another on a weekend, so that way everyone has a better chance of meeting each other. With conventions, however, it's a little different. Most conventions already run on a tight budget, and because hotels tend to have less business travelers during the weekend, it's often easier for our con to reserve a block of rooms and secure space for programming at a reduced price, and given many attendees are students with limited disposable income, it makes sense. If a convention were to take place like only during the weekdays, I'd imagine it would be more expensive, the attendance rate would go way down, and it overall just wouldn't be a great time. At least that's how I think. I've never ran a convention before, so please take that with a grain of salt. Why do some people think of furries as a sexual thing? Well, I'm not gonna turn a blind eye and pretend that side of the fandom doesn't exist. But truth be told, the whole community ain't about that side either. Some people only choose what they want to see or whatever the media shoves in their faces. Curse that CSI episode! Hi, Stormi. What has been your favorite layout of a convention? I'm guessing by layout you mean like the map of the convention or something? In that case, the one where everything takes place in the same building, on the same floor, because I get lost so friggin' easily. Like seriously, I could get lost in a bathroom or a closet. I have the worst sense of direction, and I need a GPS everywhere I go. This is what I love about smaller conventions. Like at EFS, I didn't get lost once, and it was really nice. When I get lost, my anxiety sort of skyrockets and I start to panic. But yeah, that about wraps up this Q&A. If there's a question you want to ask me, type hashtag Q&A in the comments, followed by your question. And who knows, I might just answer it. Anyway, if y'all enjoyed this video, you found it helpful or at least somewhat amusing, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment. Again, let me know if you want to ask me anything about the fandom or myself or potatoes or whatever. But yeah, my stomach hurts. Subscribe if you haven't, and share it all over the furry internets. I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye!